Hi. In this podcast, we're going to talk to Ravi from India Hikes. India Hikes is a major trekking company in India, which was established by Arjun sir. So, the main motto behind India Hikes is ethics and values and bringing humans or taking humans back into nature with respect to the nature. We're going to learn about survival skills, not even just trekking, any survival skills and places to trek in India, environment wise, how we are destroying nature, and even when we are trekking and going into the nature, how we are supposed to be respecting it. Please do subscribe. Thank you so much. So, because we are speaking about this, tell me, let's say you have trekking in Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand and places like that, right? Like forest areas as well. India Hikes
Yeah,
does trekking in Chhattisgarh, right?
yes, we are doing this trek in Chhattisgarh right now. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So you do find tribal people in the jungles, right? In the forest.
yes, we do.
Okay. So I think that will be the perfect example that because you must have interacted with them. What is the major difference between them and people living outside? Don't tell me in the what do you say, basic level, like
Yeah.
amenities and stuff. Mentally, psychologically, what would be the difference, you would say, in children, at least if you met a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old, in skills wise, mental abilities
Hmm.
wise?
Because it's just not those tribal areas. Even in the mountains, when we conduct a trek, some of these villages are so remote,
Hmm.
like hardly anybody reaches over there. But only by the virtue of treks, these people are able to interact with the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and frankly speaking, my personally, what I have seen is that these people are very self sufficient
Mm-hmm.
in their own ways. Like if I talk about what is the name of this village, so I went to one of these explorations in Uttarakhand,
Mm-hmm.
and its name was Bijay Top. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so the starting point of this trek was, and it is around that Kedar Kantha, that
Mm-hmm.
area itself.
Yeah.
Okay, and this village was where we started, was it was kind of like left out kind of village, like in one remote corner, beautiful houses and all. And yes, there were schools that was there by given by the government and all, but I could see that all those people are quite happy. They grow their own food, they exchange the food, they have animals in their house, and their needs are very basic. So they, whatever they have around their village, in their nearby areas, they usually consume that, and they are happy with that. Okay,
Okay.
if you talk about the tribal areas of Chhattisgarh, I will be a little skeptical to give this answer, because I personally have not gone there and met those
Right.
people.
Mm.
I belong from Jharkhand.
Mm.
I'm grown up in that area. I can give a
Mm.
different perspective, but I'm not sure it will connect to trekking
What
as
what
such.
I'm trying to understand from here is that do you think, because people in outside world like us, we think we are smarter, right? We think we know everything and we are smart and we are better in so many ways. I just want to understand the mental abilities of kids growing up there. Like, are we missing out on
Ah,
something because we are very far away from nature, or are they the smart ones and we're just thinking the wrong way around?
no, they have smart following there as well. I don't know how to answer this question. Um, but each places have got their own pros and cons
Mm.
there. If you go, these people lack, of course they lack that connectivity, that connection and all.
The life skills, what I feel is that
Mhm.
we're missing on life skills. Today, if you ask, if you just leave me somewhere in jungle, or I need to know how to survive, right? Basic skills.
Yeah,
So those basic life skills, we are missing out on them. We're relying too much on
i
technologies and too much on.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, we think that we're more smarter, we are way better living and things like that, because we have all these ACs, we have cars and everything, even though they don't have anything, but they know how to live. That is what I want to understand, the difference between the life skills.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. The first sentence that I mentioned was that first thing is that need of things. So
Mm.
people living in that part, I don't know if you're specifically talking about children, then it will be a very different question. But if you talk people in general,
Everyone, basically,
they're
generally. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So people are in general in life, they are very content with whatever they have.
I mean to say that they don't have depressions, right? Definitely, they don't have
They
depressions
don't
and
have
things like this.
depressions. You won't believe if you walk into those places. I'm telling you one of the biggest differences.
Yeah.
You just walk into those places. I'm telling you, there will be one household who will literally hold your hand and they will take you to their house. They'll take you for a tea, and they will all invite you to maybe stay or offer food without asking for any money, without
Mm.
anything. I don't know how many times it has happened with me, like
Mm.
maybe more than like 20, 30 times. Random people, just they will ask
Why
you to have.
why do you think, I know this is going a little bit track outside of our trekking, but I just want to
Yeah,
know this part. Why do you think they don't have depression?
because they are well connected to each other right
And
now. What
content? And content also, maybe?
content also, yeah, because see, everything comes from like if you ask me personally, everything comes from the thought of need.
Mm.
When you start wanting something, so now
Mm.
everything is now connected towards things, and here we are mostly, that want and need is mostly comes from all these things that are there around us. That
Mm.
is like material things. We need stuff, we need saman, we need things, we are full of things around us.
Mm.
But when you talk about those emotions, those thoughts, they all subside down, because you can't share emotions with things just like that. But
Mm.
once you go into those mountains, the connection that people have amongst themselves, all these villages, the way they are connected with each other, as if like it's a macro community, macro family.
Yeah.
Okay, and they are totally dependent on natural resources. They go into the jungles, they go, like they do farming, they are dependent
Yeah.
on the weather conditions. And
Yeah.
whenever there is a calamity or anything, everybody stands up for each other to help in those situations. You
Yeah.
won't believe, even for house construction, even for smallest of the thing, there is a kind of like a ritual that if there is a house construction happening at your house, one person from each family will come, and that person will have to help out in putting the bricks and mason and everything, so that
Mm.
your house gets constructed, because there is no people coming from the outside. And even
Yeah.
if people are coming from the outside, they don't have money to pay.
Mm.
So they are very self-sustained.
Do you know that this happens in Western countries? People in from who go from India and settle down in Western countries, this happens again. Because I think it all comes from the smaller communities and you want to
Yeah,
stick together. This is how it
yeah,
happens. So I think maybe a human being, you feel insecure when you are in lesser in numbered, when you don't
yes.
have too many people, and then you start sticking together because you're scared that if you leave that, and slowly, if let's say any country citizen going and living abroad in any other country, you feel what do you say, alone and things like that. Right? This happens here. I mean, like I'm talking about Australia. Basically,
Yeah.
we do the same thing here. We used to, but nowadays the population is growing, so you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. My sister living in UK, she also says, narrates the same thing. There
yeah,
is a
that's what happens.
micro
Yeah,
community that
yeah.
has grown up.
Yeah, if there is any landscaping happening, it's like everybody pitches in and then everybody puts a hand in it because it's costly too. You have to pay
Yeah.
$100 an hour for a landscaper. So
True, true, true. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So and coming back to the trekking part, are you prepared for animal encounters as well? Because you're going into very remote places, right? So are you prepared for animal encounters as well, particularly Himalayas? People talk about bears. People talk about etis. Have you ever seen an eti? No,
I wish
you wish.
if I see one, I probably my next interview will happen with Nat Geo.
Nat Geo, no, first for me and then Nat Geo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
no. See,
bears,
the
any other animal encounters?
animals are there.
Mm.
Here and there, you might find the pug marks, or maybe the remnants of something,
Mm.
um, of animals carcass, and here and there.
Mm.
But the thing is, all these animals, they understand that humans are not good for them,
I
and
know.
then they stay away
I
from
know. I know.
that
Let's
community.
not scare them, actually.
Yeah.
And this is for survival skills, I'm asking. Tell me major three, because in movies and all, see, our knowledge comes from movies or books we read and things like that, right? In movies, they
Yeah.
show that if you have fire, the animals stay away. But
Yeah.
snakes come to the warmth, you know that, right?
Okay. Yeah. I agree
So,
with you.
yeah, so these skills, let's say you ended up somewhere and then you had to tent yourself over there. Basically, do you have to put a fire or you should not? Tell me those emergency signals or emergency things which you need to do and not to do, because initially you're mentioning about that incident about the torch signaling also, right?
Yeah.
Please tell me a bits of those emergency signaling also. Let's say if you end up somewhere.
Okay, I think survival skills are like must.
Mm.
For example, every person should know swimming, driving. Like these are like basic
Mm.
ones if you're
I know. I
living in a
believe in
city.
it too. Yep.
Yeah, but when it comes to mountains, since you gave that comparison of
Mm.
cold-blooded and
Yes.
warm-blooded,
Yes.
first thing is the snakes are not there in the Himalayas. So cold places you will not find these reptiles because they
I'm
are
going.
cold-blooded.
I'm going then. I'm scared of snakes. I'm going to
Yeah,
Himalayas.
yeah, I've
Okay.
heard that there are a lot of snakes there in the Australian highlands and all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come into the houses actually, and we have
Seriously.
yes. Like if you go little bit 50 kilometers away from Sydney, you can just see snakes everywhere. If I mean, like what Australia does is, if you have like 100 houses or 1,000 houses, they have to
Yeah.
leave particular area for the forest. It's like a natural
Okay.
reserve. Every suburb has a natural reserve, so it has kangaroos,
Okay.
koalas to snakes, like countless.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that way in Himalayas you will not find snakes because it's cold over here, and snakes do not stay at these cold places.
Okay.
Having said that, when you talk about fire, yes, if you are going in a small group of two people, three people, four people, like a small group, ideally you should have a fire.
Mm.
The purpose of fire is not to the animals are scared about it.
Mm. Mm.
Basically, fire gives a signal to all those animals that there is a human around. So in
Oh.
general, all these animals avoid human contact. If you have fire, this is one thing that you can ascertain. Having said that, in the mountains, if you have fire, you have to make sure that it should not be too big. It should not create a forest fire, and you have to be very particular about how you are, like what area are you choosing for that fire.
Mm.
Having said that, when you talk about survival skills, um, so did you ask that what
Yeah.
are the survival skills
Yeah,
everybody should
survival skills and
have?
how to walk, even when you're walking in jungles also. You have to
Okay.
be careful while you're walking. You have all dry leaves down there. You can have anything down there, right?
Yeah, yeah. Anything
Those
can be
things.
down there.
Yeah, and particularly signaling. The signaling, like what if you
Yeah.
get lost, or how do you get to the nearest area, or what are the do you have any numbers, particularly in India? Everybody is like, in
Hmm.
India, there is no rescue, and all these are our assumptions. So
Yeah.
what are those things? Yeah.
First and foremost thing is that all these treks, all these places where people usually venture out for trekking, they are pretty well marked. The trails are pretty well laid out. You will know that okay, from here to here you have to
Okay.
go from this point to this point. Okay.
Mm.
Having said that, there are few survival skills if you are going on your own or maybe in a small group, which we
Mhm.
at India Hikes call it as DIY
DIY. Yeah, I
trekking.
wanted to ask you about that. DIY trekking. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, do
Yeah.
it yourself form of trekking. Then there are few skills that you need to learn and understand that you can inculcate. Number one is your navigation skills.
Mm.
So navigation, there are technology where you can use technology, and also you
Mm.
can use some natural elements. For
Mhm.
example, you can use a GPS in your phone. There are many apps that come very handy these places. At India Hikes, we talk about this app named Gaia. So in which you can actually load a GPX route basically. So you can preload it and you can simply just walk on this trail and you will never
Oh, it
get
doesn't need
lost.
internet. It doesn't need signal.
It doesn't need internet
Right.
and it just works on a real time GPS data.
Mm.
But technology always has a disadvantage that it works on batteries. It works
Yes.
only if your instrument is okay. So if somebody learns how to use a map reading, I think that will be a valuable skill if you
Mm.
venture out regularly. So how to
Mm.
use a compass, how to use a map, how to combine both, how to understand your bearing and all. These are
Mm.
something that you can find plenty of videos on YouTube and you can understand. Maybe you can practice a little bit in your maybe
Like,
outskirts of
yeah.
your city, and
Yeah.
you can try that. Okay.
Is it recommended to walk across a river? Is that recommended, or it's dangerous?
Across the river means crossing the
I'm not
river
crossing.
or
I'm sorry. Like along the river. I'm sorry. Along the river.
along the river. Yes, you can walk. Most of the valley treks are actually conducted alongside the river only.
Okay.
So there isn't. I think you're asking from Australian perspective, right?
No. General perspective. See, we grow up watching movies and all, right? And anytime you
Yeah,
see someone missing, they track the river and they start walking because there will be settlements across. I mean, like along the river. So I'm
yeah.
generally asking, like, why do you choose to go along the rivers? Is it because for like water drinking purposes and being safe, or why do people choose to go along the rivers?
Alongside of a river, number one, you get water. Number two is all these river streams eventually meet with each other and meet a bigger water stream, and then you will be able to find a habitat or somebody living around, because uh, all villages, everything settles around these water stream itself.
Mm-hmm.
To be very frank, in Indian Himalayas, there are very few places now anybody can get lost, because everywhere there are people, trails, animals. I mean, people take them for grazing. Until unless you venture out into a place which is not marked, or you have just gone unprepared, then only there can be a situation when people can
Have
get
you
lost.
have you ever been to Upper Himalayas?
I have been to Upper Himalayas, yes.
And what is the difference between the lower and upper? I heard that in Upper Himalayas you find lesser settlements, and it's really hard. You don't see people sometimes for days together.
Yeah, it is there because again, because of the terrain, because of the climatic conditions, people do not stay over there. So
Mhm.
all of these. So for example, I went to this trek Falun to, not it was an expedition Falun to. It was part of my advanced mountaineering course. But the thing is that the whole trek, the whole mountaineering expedition started from a village, from a settlement area. Eventually, you reach to a certain point,
Mm,
but beyond that point, which is around like 5,000 meters,
mm,
4,500 meters.
mm,
After that point, it's fully arid. There is nothing, nobody is there around.
mhm.
And if you don't have the right equipment, if you don't have the right gears, you can get lost. Something can happen, and then you have to stick with the group. You have to have somebody who knows the trail, or you need to have that technology or map reading at that locations.
Right. Yeah. I'm going off a little out of the track again for a bit because I would call myself spiritual. It's not in any sense of like any religion or anything. It's just to be conscious. That's all. Did you find any yogis meditating in the Upper Himalayas or Lower Himalayas? Any people who are like mystic?
Yes, I have met
Can
a
you
person.
can you please share me the experience of the person?
Okay, I have forgotten the name of that yogi. I was in Gomukh Tapovan,
Mm-hmm.
so that is one of the treks that we do, and it's quite a famous trek. It's one of the most ancient treks in India that
Mm.
goes to the Gomukh glacier, from where the Ganga River
Is
originates.
it the one to the
And
Badrinath?
no, Badrinath. That trek is a different one.
Okay.
Okay, that
Mm.
is Valley of Flowers. That's a
Ah,
different side
yes,
altogether.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this Gomukh Tapovan trek. So till Gomukh, every single person goes in there to witness the origin of Ganga. As you know, Ganga is our
Yes.
one of our
Yes.
religious pious
Yes.
rivers. Okay.
Yes.
So every single person goes till there. But after that Gomukh, that's now that glacier, this trek further goes towards Tapovan. So Tapovan
Mm-hmm.
is at 14,500 feet. Okay.
Wow. Mm.
And at this whole valley is known for all these mystics. When I went over there, I met this. I saw there was a huge rock. Okay, big rock,
Mm.
and then there was kind of like a small cave there. I was just curious that, okay, what is there, because I could see some smoke
Mm. Coming out.
coming out
Mm.
from that cave. So I just went around and reached to that point, and I saw that there was this person in like full hair grown and all. Okay, he was just sitting over there. I mean, not inside the cave, outside he was just sitting. And when he saw me, he greeted me, and we then started talking in our own language, in Hindi itself. And then I was curious. Okay, where is this person come from? Why did he choose this
Yeah.
place to be?
Place.
The first thing that he shared was, which was kind of like, it just shook me up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He said that at the age of 15 itself, he had made a decision for himself that he wants to become a yogi. I was like, I could not believe it. I simply could not believe it. I could not take a decision of whether
What
to
were
be an
what were
engineer.
you doing at 15?
Okay, yeah. This person just told that I wanted to be that, and he had told his
Yeah.
father also. He came from a poor family, humble family, but he was sure that he wanted to take this journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked him about like God, and like, why didn't you choose to become a pujari or something like this?
Mm, mm, mm,
And he was absolutely sure about that. He doesn't want to do that mundane thing the world is doing of praying
mhm,
a
mhm,
deity and all. And he had
mhm,
and he was very clear about it.
mhm.
And then I asked him, why are you paying so much of penance? Like, this is too much on your body and all.
Yeah.
Then he said that the only way to, I mean, his way of getting things was the only way to reach to that superpower or something is to make your body susceptible to these hardship, so that you let go of your body and then you connect with
Yeah.
the with the higher powers.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to pay so much of penance,
Yeah.
so that you can get rid of all those karma that your body is carrying through all these lives.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, it was out of the world, because I had read all these things in books and
Yes.
all, but meeting this person was a different experience. And he was literally like in a single piece of this
Cloth.
cloth, and I was wearing this whole jacket and all. And you
Yeah.
won't believe, so he told that he had arrived last year to that place, so it was already 1 year.
Hmm.
And he would stay there for 3 years.
Okay.
Okay. And he would not go down from this cave to the base. So there are people who bring in food for him, which he kind of like
Stores.
accumulates and keeps.
Yeah. Hmm.
The only thing that he needs from the base majorly is kerosene oil. So he needs that kerosene oil at least, so that there is some sort of heat in the winters, because in the winters what happens is everything gets covered in snow. Even
Cave.
his cave would get covered in some 17 or 10 feet of snow, and he has to live inside that snow thing
Wow.
for 5 6 months without getting out of that place.
Yeah.
And he
Wow.
would say that randomly animals come, bears come, some animals come, and they all sit and then they go. So that's when he told about these animals, that they do not hunt anybody just like that. I was, and he, the way he narrated the stories of all these animals, my respect for animals, and
Yeah, I
and
think
like
I think
how,
they have more sense towards energies than us. We
yeah,
don't read other people's energies properly. I think they read energies
true,
very well, like literally.
true,
Yeah. So
yeah.
coming back to trekking again, do you find any major difference between cold region trekkings and warm region trekkings? Is there any difference in taking care, extra care, except for
Um,
clothing? Except for the clothing, is there anything
okay,
else?
can I break down your question? You're talking about treks in
Region.
Himalayas and treks
Yes.
in other part of the
Other part of
country.
the country. Yeah, yeah. I'm just not
Yeah,
naming them, but cold regions trekking and then normal tropical trekkings.
yeah. No, trekking in Himalayas, they do require a certain set of preparation, planning, what all you need to carry, not to carry. But rest of the places, it's more like
Okay,
okay,
easy.
you don't need much things.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, in our Chhattisgarh jungle trek,
Mm-hmm.
though it is conducted in the month of December, January, and all, but still the weather is very much fair,
Yeah.
like a moderate climate. So
Yeah.
you,
Would you
in the
would you say
evening you
for a
might.
beginner, it's better to do these kind of treks first and then go for the Himalayas? Because I saw Arjun sir speaking about this as well, like go for the moderate and minimum ones, basic ones, and then aim for the highest ones. Would you recommend that too?
Yeah, I mean, that is always there. But having said that, in the Himalayas also, there are beginner level treks. For
Mm.
example, take example of Dayara Bugyal trek.
Mm.
So that is
Sorry,
one
what
trek.
is
If
that?
anybody
Repeat
is
again. Sorry, what is that?
Dayara Bugyal.
Dayara Bugyal. Okay.
Yeah, Dayara Bugyal, even Kedar Kantha for that sake
Mm-hmm.
also.
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody who wants to experience high altitude, how what happens when you
Mm-hmm.
hit the high altitude, what happens with your body, how is the cold, how is the fitness, what is the level that you have to test. You can start with these 4 day treks in the beginning, which are quite doable.
Mm.
Okay, the treks that, for example, the Chhattisgarh jungle trek that I'm talking about, it's a different experience altogether. Okay,
Mm.
it's a very different experience from the Himalayan trek. In
Mm.
this trek, when you go into the jungle, that central India's the forest that you
Mm.
see, the animals over there, the flora fauna, you walk alongside the river.
Yeah.
This experience is completely different from the one that you go in the Himalayas.
Okay.
But you can choose any one of them for a beginner one.
Like, okay, so
So
let's say you're a
that,
beginner trekker, and then you said around 4 days, right? The basic trekking is. So,
yeah,
how
yeah, the
many
basic.
kilometers do you walk in a day? An average person, like an average trekking expedition with you.
So for these treks that I'm talking
Mm.
about, every day is kind of like 5 kilometers, five
Oh,
kilometers, 4 kilometers.
that's
I'll
it.
take
That's not
example.
bad at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
That's
That's why
yeah.
people consider trekking to be such a difficult activity. But I'm telling you, it's once
Yeah,
you
see,
start doing it,
until now, I was thinking like you will you make people walk like 30 kilometers or something for a
no,
day.
no, no,
That's it. Five
no,
is
no,
not.
no. Those
Oh my
are
god. So it's all more about the experience while you're walking that you're concentrated on. It's not about the length
yes.
of the journey,
No, no,
right?
not at all. And
Yeah.
see, it's also dependent on the altitude as well. So if you are walking
Mm,
5 kilometers, how
mm.
much altitude difference is there from
Yes.
one point to the other? We cannot
Mm.
take you from one point to the other like
Fast.
5,000 feet climb in a single day
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
have to acclimatize as well, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So all
Yes.
these campsites are like curated, planned at what altitude you should be so that your body
Mm,
undertakes that altitude without
mm,
facing any altitude sicknesses.
mhm.
And these factors are taken care.
Do you think nature welcomes you,
Yeah, of course.
humans?
Humans also.
No, no, I'm
Uh,
asking like, do you think nature really welcomes us, and are we giving the same respect towards the nature back again? How she's welcoming us?
it depends on people to people,
Mm,
situation to situation.
mm,
People who trek with us, we ensure that everything is done in sync with nature.
yes.
Many people say that we take so many people into the mountains. I think I'm going a little off topic. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Like many people say that we take so many people into the mountains. Yeah, we do take people into the mountains at our own capacity. We are not taking like hundreds of people in a single group. We are
mm-hmm.
taking 20 people, 21 people in a single group. And whatever treks, the way that we conduct it, it is in the most sustainable way that is possible. When I talk about sustainability, I think I have not covered this part much. So every trekker who treks with India Hikes carries an eco bag alongside their waist.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have heard of that leave no trace principle, where wherever you go, you take your waste back. But
Yes.
here we take one step forward. What we do is we not only we take our waste back, but we also ensure whatever waste we find on the trail which has been
Yes.
left by other people, we
Yes.
pick that waste and we keep it in our eco bag. That
Yes.
is step number one.
Mm-hmm.
Step number two, all this waste that is brought down, it's just not like that we just take this waste, take from one end and then dump it into the other place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that is not the solution. And
Yes.
anyways, the landfills are growing like another sort of mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this waste is now segregated. So we usually segregate into four parts, and based on that we almost prevent 60% of this waste which would eventually end up into the landfill goes into the right facility. And from the Himalayas, whatever waste we collect, we do not dump it even in those localities. We bring it all the way down, almost 200, 300 kilometers down at the facility where the waste can be actually monitored or taken care in the right manner
Wow.
than somebody in the municipal organization who just dump it or burn it then and there itself.
Yeah.
That is
Wow.
one step that we take.
This is what I said in the beginning, that India Hikes is with ethics and values. This is where it
Yeah.
makes a difference. And you
Yeah.
talking about taking people into mountains, I would disagree with it because people belong in mountains. what is, what is,
Exactly, that's the
yeah.
point. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
they
so much.
do.
But like who has given this authority to some people who have good financial background? They only can go and do
Oh,
the trek.
yes, yes,
No, no,
yes.
we believe that everybody, like it's not with India hikes. We are not
No,
talking about that
no,
everybody come
I
and
get
trek
it.
with India. You go and do the trek, but in an ethical manner.
Yes,
And
ethical
just
man.
not in Himalayas. If you are in Australia, I think near around your place, there must be a hiking trail.
Yeah, there
If
are
you
a
are in
lot.
Bangalore, there are
There are a
yeah,
lot.
there are 20 hiking trails around Bangalore. In Delhi,
Mm,
just
mm.
if you can go around Delhi, go
But
outside.
it's just that, Ravi. These days in my podcast also, even if I want to talk about any new place, if we
Yeah,
discover some new place, recently in Almora, our podcast guest, she was talking about a new place, but she was scared to reveal the place name,
okay.
fearing that people may ruin it, because the
So
authenticity
that
of
is the
it.
point.
Yeah,
So
see
that
the
is the point that I'm trying to. I agree
just
with you, but
yeah.
I'll also contradicting to this point is
Mhm.
that there are some people who are ruining it, but
Yeah.
there is also a class of people who are growing, who understand how a trek can be done or should be done, and they are the people who are going forward and ensuring these things
Not
should not
just
happen.
trekking, Ravi, just living
Yeah,
normally, also being more
exactly,
conscious
exactly.
enough, not just trekking. Even if you're dumping your dust in your bins, or
Yeah,
around you, just living consciously, we're ruining everything. I don't want to say people also, we. I'm not the perfect human being either. I'm just trying,
Yeah.
that's all, but we are ruining everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to give one example of
Sure.
me.
Sure.
So since the time I've joined India Hikes, I ensure that every single plastic that I generate, I document it.
Oh, you
And
document it, I recycle it. Okay.
yeah, and like I know I generate plastic. I am living in a plastic world.
Yes.
So at my home, no single-use plastic leaves my house. So every
Mm-hmm.
single-use plastic since the time I've shifted to Bangalore, I ensure that it is kept. So I make a bottle brick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like any bottle I pick, and then I put all those soft plastic inside it.
And
And through that also I get to know how much plastic I'm generating. Okay, and I keep it over there, and I use it to make other. I upcycle it to make other things. So far in last 2 years,
like
it's
building wall or something, because I saw some people are building walls with
yes.
plastic
So
bottles.
I cannot build walls, but yes, I can make some things out of it. Right now, I have just 8 bottles that I have made in two
Wow.
years now.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
these days I'm hearing these people speaking about recycling also. It's not good. In the first place, I don't know why we started plastic. One of my podcasts, in period pads also are made of plastic polymers. So there's a
yeah,
scientist from Chennai, she's using all these herbal products. But just saying, in 60s and 70s, we started using this plastic. This is past, right? Plastic. Now we are using something which we are not aware of,
yeah,
that is going to ruin the future. We should be very aware every single point in time. We should not be looking back and saying that, oh, this we could have done differently 10 years ago or
yeah,
20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? There is
yeah,
some
yeah. Of
other
course.
material which we are ruining now. We should be conscious about that also.
Exactly. So I would like to add the one point since the conversation that we are having right now.
Mm-hmm.
The same conversation when it happens in the mountains on the
Mm-hmm.
treks where we go, I'm telling you, it has such a profound effect on people. The
Mm.
same conversation, the one that we just discussed right now,
Why do you
it
think,
has
Ravi?
a
Why do you think is the difference? Do you
because
think
people
they open up? People open up?
exactly they open up, they see things right in front. Since the
Mm.
see everything comes from respect. We
Yes.
all love trees, we all love nature, but what is that love? Like how
Mm.
will you express that love?
Mm.
Until unless you don't feel it. But the moment you
Mm.
go over there, the moment you start feeling good, the
Mm.
moment you are vulnerable, I mean you are feeling
So it's
not
so,
like
so, so
a
basically it's like a long distance relationship. We are doing long distance relationship from the cities. We should be often visiting the mountains and nature.
I'm
You feel
telling
it,
you,
right? It's the same thing, isn't it? You should feel vulnerable with the partner or with the nature. It's the same thing, actually.
yes,
Yeah.
you got it.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah. So these conversations become so easy, and I'm telling you the impact children have. My God, when
Yes.
I trek with children, the same learning that they take in the school in textbooks, and all those. I mean, so many people go over there and talk
Yes.
about it. But the same thing when they see in the mountains, when they see that
Mm,
there
mm,
is trash all
mm,
around, people
mm,
throwing
mm,
it,
mm.
you won't believe there were children in my group who literally went to a person and told, sir, why are you polluting this place? Why are you like, do you like this doing it over here? You
Yeah.
won't believe all those people, they started picking up waste in the area at Tal Chandrashila, and they started clapping for these girls. And
Yes.
these girls, they themselves had never done it. I mean, they did it because the school had asked them to do it in their own vicinity. But
Right.
here they were doing it from their own love
Yes.
because they were
And they will
feeling that
not
they were
forget
doing.
for their life. If you have implanted
Yeah,
that at that age, they will not
yeah.
forget for life.
And
Yeah.
then they could
And
call out people. They would
yeah.
call out people.
Mm.
Like for yourself you can do, but if you see somebody doing
Yes.
wrong,
Stopping
do
them
you
is
have
like a
the
big
guts?
thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is a big thing. It's not a small thing. If you question this
Yeah.
today, you're going to question everything tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
exactly.
Which is good.
I have seen the like small children, they have started questioning their parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat Maggie. I don't want to eat these things because I'm contributing towards
Yes.
my
Yes.
impact on this planet.
Yes, yes, yes.
Big
Actually,
big impact.
huge respect to Arjun sir, because he's trying to. I don't know why someone said that, but I'll just say my statement. He's trying to bring people where they belong, at
Yeah.
least once in a while. Not every day, but at least once in a while.
Once in a while. Yeah.
Once in a while, because we need it. We really need it. Well, it's fine. We understand that we're running away, but once in a while, we need to go and visit our mother, right? We do go and
Yeah.
visit our parents, right? It's exactly the same thing, going and visiting.
Yeah.
In India hikes, what are the regions it is covering in India for trekking? or is it covering any other regions outside India also? Or let's say if it is in India, tell me the states it's covering and tell me the regions and the types of regions it's covering. India Hikes for trekking. And also, we're going to conclude this now. So tell me the age groups. Already you mentioned the fitness also, but
Yeah.
the age group limit from 5-year-old to 60-year-old or whatever.
I'll start off with the age group.
Mhm.
So anyone from the age group of 6
Mhm.
onwards. So based on the difficulty level of the trek, children at the age of 6 to 12 or whatever number, they can go and do the trek. Again, having said that, the difficulty level.
Yeah.
To an age of 58 to 58, after post 58, people have to submit their heart related condition proof.
Mhm.
And if that is okay, then people beyond 60 also can do the trek. Like, for example, I took one of the gentlemen who was 61-year-old to
Mhm.
Kilimanjaro. Okay.
Kilimanjaro.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So, so that is with regards to age group. The second thing is region wise. So, going by numbers, Jammu and Kashmir.
Mhm.
Then we have Himachal Pradesh,
Mhm.
Uttarakhand.
Mhm.
Then we have Sikkim, West Bengal. Arunachal, we have not started yet.
Mhm.
Then we have Chhattisgarh. We explored a trek in Odisha, but we
Mhm.
have not kind of doing a trek, but we have documented the trek.
Good.
Then Madhya Pradesh also, we have started a trek, but again, we are not running it, documented it.
Yeah.
And then in South, in Kodaikanal and I mean in Karnataka and Maharashtra,
Right.
these places we are running treks. See, the government of different places. They are approaching
Yes.
us for all these explorations.
Yes.
We do explore, but to open it for our trekkers, we take
But the
the
governments
all
are
those.
favoring you, supporting you guys.
Yes, they are supporting us because now they also understand the same values that we carry, and they
And
can relate. They relate
tourism
it.
perspective also, right? It
Tourism
increases
perspective,
tourism.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, great. So nothing in Andhra?
Right now, right now, no, you suggest.
That's
I mean,
okay.
there are few treks which are documented, but we are not running it for
Yeah, because we
trekkers.
have huge forests like Nalamala.
You can just give us a suggestion. We
Yeah,
can.
the Sri Salem forest, Nalamala forest, that is one of the dense and deep forests, I think, in
Okay.
South. That is one of the deep and dense.
Yeah, but whether a walk, I mean, a trek, whether a hike can be possible there or
There,
not, so
there are
somebody will
there are
have to.
invisible treks people are already doing, in particularly in Nalamala and also near Tirupati as well. But
Yeah.
then nothing is properly documented. There are literally beautiful Nalamala treks which are used by yogis and all these Swamijis, but
Okay.
not regular people. Have you ever been
Okay.
to like Ishtakameswari in Sri Salem?
No, no,
No,
no. I
okay.
have never been to that
Yeah,
side.
so those areas are like not accessible at all. There are limitations with those because there are tiger zones as well. So yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
tell me, Ravi, basic safety precautions, not from India Hikes. I know India Hikes is prepared with the all the safety precautions, not at the level of India Hikes. I want to know from the perspective of an individual preparation of safety.
Yeah.
I know India Hikes is perfect with safety precautions and everything, but individual level, what are the basic precautions I should be taking as an individual coming to trekking with you guys? As a trekker, like a team leader,
Yeah.
you would expect a trekking person to have this minimum knowledge at least, or it
Okay.
is it is like it's not a headache literally, but it is going to kill other people's time, or it's going to drag the trek timing and
Mm-hmm.
disturbances. Minimum knowledge of these things or advantages, we can say.
See, I'll be very open with you. If you are
Mhm.
coming and trekking with India Hikes, the only concern that we have is the gears that you're. So, from a trek leader's perspective, from an organization perspective, that your fitness is number one, and number two is your gears. Okay, these two things you should be prepared for if you are coming and trekking with India Hikes.
Mhm.
The two perspectives. Okay, if you are trekking on your own, then the parameters changes. Okay, you need to know the skills of medicines. I mean,
Mhm.
what happens in high altitude. So those medical skills on a very basic level, at least you should know. You should
Mhm.
know your terrain, like
Mhm.
where you are going, what altitude you are going. You need to have a proper itinerary. Okay,
Mhm.
you need to know how to pack your backpack, how to, I mean, use your gears properly. That includes your navigation skills as well. That
Mhm.
is also important.
Mhm.
Survival skills, as I had mentioned earlier, also those are important, like how to cook. Okay, how to find your way.
What to
Okay, how
eat?
to,
What to
what
eat?
to eat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What all things to carry,
Yeah.
what to eat. Okay,
Yeah.
what is the right stuff and all. And one point which I mentioned to everyone is choose your partner wisely if you're going with somebody. Okay, on a
Okay.
trek.
Okay. So
Yeah,
what can happen there?
I don't know. People on trek, they just become different personalities.
Really?
Sometimes they're very a good side, or sometimes their worst sides just
The patient, I
reappear.
think the patient levels are being tested. The patience is
Yes,
tested.
yes, big time,
Yeah.
big time, big
Your
time.
ego is tested. Everything is tested, right? That's a
Yeah,
good one
only
to
on
add.
DIY. Only on DIY. Regular
Okay.
treks, so everything is taken care of. But here,
Yeah.
if you are going with somebody whom you call it as a friend, just see what is their patience level.
Yeah.
Patience is number one. If that is not there, then increase the number of people. Okay.
One or the other will help you.
Yes.
Okay, so by this we are wrapping up this podcast. Please,
Yeah.
guys, go to India Hikes and Trek.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ravi. You've been great
Thank
on
you.
the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.